Hello, everybody. It's me, Ian Rodriguez. Welcome to day 24 in the 28-day challenge as we read a chapter a day through the Gospel of Matthew. You are so close to the end. So proud of you. Thank you for joining me. I hope this has been enlightening. So now Jesus is about to leave the temple. Several days we have seen Jesus in the temple preaching, teaching, telling parables about the kingdom. And then turning to his own disciples, he then gives instruction on how they should live and how they should not live, and then gives an open public rebuke to the religious leaders of this time, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And I'm sure they are there fuming, right? They are there now going to plot to kill him. And so as we enter chapter 4 today, he is about to leave the temple and he is going to give them some insight on the end times, what it's going to look like, what to be looking for the arrival of the second coming of the Messiah. And so he is going to be explaining these things again to his disciples, to his very close followers, letting them know what is about to transpire as best he can, because I'm sure a lot of this stuff they might not have really understood what Jesus was talking about. I mean, they were barely even beginning to come to grips with the fact that he is telling them that he is going to be killed, that he is going to die and then resurrect in 3 days. And so as you can imagine, as they begin to ask him questions about what to be looking for, this would be key for us to press in today, because we know we are living in the end of the end times, right? And so there are some key elements that Jesus begins to talk about in order for us to know in what season we are living and what to look for as we await and anticipate the sky to break and our Messiah to return again. So let's begin in chapter 24, starting in verse 1. It says, Jesus then left the temple, and as he walked away, the disciples pointed out how very impressive the temple architecture was. And Jesus said, "You're not impressed by all this sheer size, are you? The truth of the matter is that there's not a stone in that building that is not going to end up in a pile of rubble." So they leave and they look at this majestic temple, right, that they were just in. And they're looking at it, and it was beautiful. It was probably something for them that they're just taking in. It's breathtaking. And then now Jesus is now going to give the prophecy of the temple destruction, the sacrilege that's going to happen there at the temple. Not even a stone in that building is going to be left. The only thing left of this temple is going to be a pile of rubble. Later, as he was sitting on Mount Olives, his disciples approached and asked him, "Tell us, when are these things going to happen? What will be the sign of your coming and that the time's up?" So they're asking, right? They're there with him now at Mount Olives, and they are having this conversation, probably thinking a lot about what Jesus was saying as they left the temple that day. And so they're wanting to know, what is the sign of the time? What should I be looking for? And Jesus said, "Watch out for doomsday deceivers. Many leaders are going to show up with forged identities, claiming, 'I am the Christ, I'm the Messiah.' They will deceive a lot of people. And when reports come in of wars and rumored wars, keep your head and don't panic. This is a routine history. This is no sign of the end. Nation will fight nation and ruler fight ruler over and over. Famines and earthquakes will occur in various places. This is nothing compared to what is coming." Wow. So he's starting to reveal what the birth pains are. That when you see these things, it doesn't necessarily mean that Jesus is coming. When you see wars and rumors of wars, when you see others claiming to be the Messiah, when you see uprisings and earthquakes and famine in the land, that's not necessarily a sign that Jesus is going to return. He's saying those things have to happen over and over and over and over again. So then there must be something else further, right, that we should be looking for. If some of these things are what Jesus is now calling routine, they're like birth pains. He says, "They're going to throw you to the wolves and kill you, everyone hating you because you carry my name. And then going from bad to worse, it will be dog eat dog, everyone at each other's throats, everyone hating each other." Wow. We're living in that generation right now where there is hate, where there's evil like never before. It says, "In the confusion, lying preachers will come forward and deceive a lot of people. For many others, the overwhelming spread of evil will do them in, nothing left of their love but a mound of ashes. Wow. Staying with it. That's what God requires. Stay with it to the end. He says, so when you see these things, what do you have to do? Survive it. Endure, persevere through. Don't let those things take you out. It says, stay with it to the end. You won't be sorry and you'll be saved. All during this time, the good news, the message of the kingdom will be preached all over the world. A witness staked out in every country, and then the end will come. He's starting to talk about those who stay in the faith. The message of the kingdom will be preached to every inch of the world. That there will be messengers who will go and preach the gospel. They will do this in an act of obedience so that all can be saved, and every inch of the world will know about Jesus. And then it says, and the end will come. The monster of desecration. But be ready to run for it. When you see the monster of desecration, or your Bible may see the abomination of desolation set up in the temple sanctuary. The prophet Daniel described this. If you've read Daniel, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're living in Judah at that time, run for the hills. If you're working in the yard, don't return to the house to get anything. If you're out in the field, don't go back and get your coat. Pregnant and nursing mothers will have it especially hard. Hope and pray this won't happen during the winter or on Sabbath. This is going to be trouble on a scale beyond what the world has ever seen or will ever see again. If these days of trouble were left to run their course, nobody would make it. But on account of God's chosen people, the trouble will be cut short. He's talking about this abomination and desolation that is complete sacrilege against the holy temple. And this is where they were going to set up an idol or an antichrist in the temple and destroy the temple and turn it to rubble. So this is what he's talking about. And really many scholars believe that this happened in 70 AD by the Romans destroying the holy temple. And he's saying that this would have been heartbreaking to live through. It would have been especially hard to live through it if you were a nursing or pregnant mother. Now, here's the thing that many people believe and take these particular verses to also mean the great persecution that will happen against Christians as well. That there is a place in which the Antichrist will try to set up his own government or his own world order in order to persecute, murder, and martyr the followers of Jesus, the Christians of that time. And so there is a place of great heartache, we hear, as Jesus is talking about these things with the disciples. The arrival of the Son of Man. It says, if anyone tries to flag you down calling out, here's the Messiah, or points, there he is, don't fall for it. Because there's going to be what? False prophets. People trying to say that they are the Messiah. Fake messiahs and lying preachers are going to pop up everywhere. Their impressive credentials and dazzling performances will pull the wool over the eyes of even those who ought to know better. But I've given you fair warning. So if they say, run to the country and see him arrive, or quick, get downtown, come and see him come, don't give them the time of day. The arrival of the Son of Man isn't something you go to see. He comes like swift lightning to you. Whenever you see crowds gathering, think of carrion vultures circling, moving in, hovering over the rotting carcass. That you can be quite sure that it's not the living Son of Man pulling in those crowds, following those hard times. Sun will fade out, moon cloud over, stars fall out of the sky, and cosmic powers tremble. Then the arrival of the Son of Man, the second coming. It will fill the skies. No one will miss it. Unready people all over the world, outsiders to the splendor and power, will raise a huge lament as they watch the Son of Man blazing out of heaven. At the same moment, he'll dispatch his angels with a trumpet blast summons, pulling in God's chosen from the four winds, from pole to pole. So he says, this is what it's going to be like. before I come. There are going to be people saying they're the Messiah and they're not the Messiah. There are going to be false prophets all over. They're going to be fake preachers. And then they're going to be crowds of people who follow them. He says, don't follow the crowds. That's not where I am. He says they're actually going to be gathering like vultures. That is such a, oh man, what a depiction of this time. On the arrival of the Son of Man, it says the sun will fade out, the moon cloud over, stars fall out of the sky, cosmic powers tremble. It says everyone's going to be able to see it. You're not going to be able to miss it. But the thing is, it's going to come in a blink of an eye. It's going to come just like that. It's not something that you're going to have to go to. It's something that's just going to arrive right in God's perfect timing. And the dispatch of the angels with the trumpet sound. So before the trumpet, this is so interesting in Matthew, Jesus talks about this lament, this wailing, this crying of unready people, meaning that everyone in that moment will know whether they were ready or not. And those who are not ready, they are not going. This is serious. So they're going to realize, oh my gosh, everything everyone was preaching, everything the Word of God said about the second coming of Jesus, everything that I heard from when I was a kid and didn't believe, is now happening, and it's too late. And there will be a cry and a wailing for those who are not ready, who will not be taken up. Whoa, because it says that He is going to pull in His chosen from the four winds, from pole to pole, and they shall be what? Resurrected. Resurrected. Joined with Him. Many may call it the rapture. Those that are alive get raptured into that heavenly place, into His heavenly army as He's coming to establish His kingdom on earth. He says this, take a lesson from the fig tree. From the moment you notice its buds form the merest hint of green, you know summer's just around the corner. So it is with you. When you see these things, you'll know He's at the door. Don't take it lightly. So know the season you're living in. Know that we're in the end of the end right now. It says, when you see these things, you know He's at the door. Don't take it lightly. I'm not just saying this for some future generation, but for all of you. Because you only get this one life. We have no guarantee of tomorrow. So it's not like for those of us that are anticipating, yes, the second coming and the sky splitting and the trumpet, the shofar giving out its war cry. If that doesn't happen today or tomorrow or next week, anything else could possibly happen to take your life. You must be ready and live ready. This age continues until all these things take place. Sky and earth will wear out. My words won't wear out. Powerful. The sky, the earth will wear out. But His words are eternal and forever. But the exact day and hour, no one knows that. Not even God's angels, not even the Son. He says, I don't even know when that's going to be. Only the Father knows. Only the Father knows when that curtain falls and it's over. It says the arrival of the Son of Man will take place in times like Noah. Think of Noah. Noah, who was building the ark for 100 years, telling everybody almost, what are you doing? Oh, I'm building an ark for when it's going to rain. They'd never even seen rain. They probably thought he was a crazy man. They're seeing him build this huge thing for 100 years, and all he's done is talk about this rain that has never come. It says, before the great flood, everyone was carrying on as usual, having a good time right up to the day Noah boarded the ark. They knew nothing until the flood hit and swept everything away. Whoa. They knew nothing. And guess what? They couldn't come in because God had already shut the door and only 8 people survived that. The Son of Man's arrival will be like that. 2 men will be working in the field. 1 will be taken, 1 left behind. Whoa. 2 women will be grinding at the mill. 1 will be taken, 1 will be left behind. Y'all, this is powerful and sobering. Come on. So stay awake, alert. You have no idea what day your master will show up. But you do know this. You know that if the homeowner had known what time of night the burglar would arrive, he would have been there with his dogs to prevent the break-in. Be vigilant like that. Be ready at any given moment. You have no idea when the Son of Man is going to show up. You have no idea. So live ready. And he is going to then begin in this, especially tomorrow, talking about how to live ready. But he is now giving them a glimpse of what it's going to be like in that moment. One here, one gone. So he's saying, don't get caught off guard. Who here qualifies for the job of overseeing the kitchen? A person the master can depend on to feed the workers on time each day. Someone the master can drop in on unannounced and always find him doing his job. This is powerful. Then the message is talking about this. He's leaving us in charge. Those of you who are leaders, teachers, preachers, evangelists, pastors, apostles, bishop, whatever your title is today. Maybe it's mother, father. Come on. Okay? He is leaving us in charge of the kitchen to ensure that people are fed on time every day. And he could drop in at any moment to see if we're doing our job. A God-blessed man or woman, I tell you, it won't be long before the master will put this person in charge of the whole operation. Powerful. Because that's what it is. Remember, he talked about those who were doing their job that God had given, the assignment, being a servant, giving their life away in great anticipation for the day when Jesus will return. They will get to be rulers over nations. They will receive those rewards in heavenly places with titles and positions of authority that can never be taken from us. But if that person only looks out for himself, and the minute the master is away, does what he pleases, abusing the help and throwing drunken parties for his friends, the master is going to show up when he least expects it and make harsh of him. He'll end up in the dump with the hypocrites, out in the shivering cold, teeth chattering. So he gives two scenarios here. One of a person who's been asked to steward something. Do they steward it well? Or do they take advantage of the fact that the master isn't necessarily home and watching over them, so they think? Today has been incredible as we've been talking about the anticipation, the second coming, as Jesus then begins to reveal more and more about the signs of the time, the birth pains of the earth, and how to live ready. And tomorrow is going to be powerful. We learn how to live as we learn how to stay ready. See you tomorrow, friends.